Thank you for joining us for Prep Extra Live, the post-game show. Week 1 is in the books. I'm Aram Talegian, and I'm joined, coming into the set, here's Freddie. On my right by Fred J. Robledo, and on my left by Steve Ramirez. Like I said, Week 1 is in the books. Very, very interesting week, and there's really a lot to talk about this week. And we'll get right into it with the game of the night, and that's where Stevie was. Boy, what can you say about this? Montebello beats Northview 43-42, an absolute thriller. And, we had talked about this leading up to the game. Third time in a year that these teams had met. Northview had won the first 2 last year, 1 in the regular season, 1 in the postseason. I warned you guys last week, even though I picked Northview in this game, I warned you guys last week that Montebello really looked good to me against El Monte. And, Stevie, they get the win tonight.
Yeah,
Send shockwaves through the Mid-Valley Division.
I didn't think I'd ever go to a Northview, Montebello. Teams are traditionally known for just pounding the rock and winning games 16-15 or 14-13. I never thought I'd go to a game where it was 43-42. But both teams can throw the ball. That's what impressed me about Montebello. So is they've got some pretty good receivers to go along with their running game.
But give us the details. What happened here? I mean, 43 to 42. Was this a last second finish? I don't know.
Yeah. What happened was Montebello had a 14-point lead. They were up 36-22. I'd say with about 9 or 10 minutes left in the game, and Stephen Comstock, who Freddie likes to call Sunshine. He looked like Sunshine tonight because he had a 56-yard touchdown run.
I can't believe my Vikings lost.
Yeah, they got the ball back.
Where are my Vikings?
And they drove down and scored again on a Comstock 5-yard pass to Paul Cooper. And then Montebello scored with about 4:50 left on a 1-yard run by Ryan Rivera, who threw for 236 yards tonight and 3 touchdowns. But Northview got the ball back. I want to say with about a little bit under 2 minutes left. They drove down, and it looked like their drive was going to stop, but they had 1 second left on Montebello's 15, and Comstock threw to, I want to make sure I pronounce his name right, Antoine Ayers, the transfer from Baldwin
Park, right?
And he made a great catch, and they decided to go for 2. And the pass was he was a little bit under pressure, and the ball was picked off. And then
Montebello scores, decides to go for 2 at the end of the game. Northview scores, decides to go for 2 at the end of the game, and Montebello stops them. And they get stopped, and there you have it, 43-42. That was the game Stevie was at tonight. Montebello now 2-0, Fred.
You like the decision to go for 2 and win the game?
I do.
I mean,
early in the season, I think not let's go for it
like that. I mean,
you're on the road. You have a chance to win it right there. You go into overtime. You don't like to have to go into overtime on the road. So if you can win it,
I mean, I covered a game in the past where Monrovia did that, and I think they were denied. I think it was a game at San Dimas. And I remember Ryan Maddox saying, at that point of the game, you just don't want to keep on going because, it's a non-league game, and you're concerned, especially early in the season, with the way the weather is, you're concerned.
Yeah. Those could be 2 teams that win their leagues this year, Northview and the Valley.
I think they are both going to win their league.
San Dimas had a pretty good win tonight, though, too.
I saw that.
Zernico or no Zernico, that team is rolling like they've done in the past. Pretty good win.
Yeah, and now that I guess that means you got to include Montebello now in the conversation when you talk about potential Mid-Valley Division favorites. Paraclete, Sierra Canyon. I know they're going to be tough.
Maybe Pomona will be there at the end. Pomona had a win tonight.
Yeah, Pomona. And everyone had said Northview is that 4th team, but now maybe it's 5 teams. Northview and Montebello.
Yeah.
Like I said last week,
it's fun to have a lot of teams in the mix because it seems like the Mid-Valley, the previous years, you could always look at that draw and say, okay, I know these 2 or 3 teams are getting the Final Four, and these 2 will probably get to the final.
And like I said last week, I thought Montebello, if things broke right, could be a semifinalist, and who knows?
And they play at Paraclete in a couple of weeks. So
Montebello does?
Yeah.
Look at Montebello.
Wow, Pekin Saws, man.
Huh?
Don't doubt it.
Nice.
Yeah, so huge win for the Oilers tonight. The most thrilling game of the night there, 43-42 over Northview. Montebello 2-0 on the season now. That's very impressive. Now let's get into some other things. The game Fred was at tonight, Bishop Amat, they beat Servite 28-10. 28-10. Completely, I don't want to say undermanned, but I mean, shorthanded Bishop Amat tonight. Freddie, talk about it. They had a lot of guys out.
That was a gutty win. I mean, you'd reported it yesterday, and even up until nearly game time. One, they didn't have, Toriano Sweet. He was suspended for the game, something that happened on Wednesday. Trayvon Sidney, he's out with a knee injury. He was in street clothes, and you'd mentioned this could be 3 weeks. First series of the game on offense, Kai Higgins goes down, injures his knee. He comes out of the game. He's out the rest of it with ice.
He didn't come back?
He didn't come back. Ice in his left knee. You already got Matt Brayton out. You already got Andrew Vasquez out. I mean, there was a recipe for disaster, and you're wondering how they're going to deal with this. The good news for people at Bishop Amat is Damian Garcia came in. He started at quarterback. He played the whole game. He looked comfortable. He did his thing. He looked like the Damian that I remembered at the beginning of the year last year before he got injured. He was able to throw for over 200 yards, threw for 2 touchdowns, ran for just about 80 yards and 2 more touchdowns, and he had that chemistry going with Tyler Vaughn's 2 touchdown passes. The one just before the half, they'd fallen behind 7-6, and they came down to the last minute. Threw a long pass to Tyler where he leaped over a defender. Then in the corner of the end zone with 15 seconds left, he just throws it up. Tyler just kind of jumps over 2 guys and brings it in. Gives them the lead. Second half, they kind of wore Servite down. Servite had that one drive to start the third quarter that was really long. They wound up stopping them. They settled for a field goal. But I thought overall, their defense was absolutely fantastic tonight. Yeah, they rose to the occasion. I mean, Servite's a number 10 ranked team in the Pac-5. I mean, it's a good, solid win when you consider everything that was going against them tonight. I mean, when you start listening to these guys who go down, and then you see Higgins, who you know is another very, very good offensive lineman, go down. You're just thinking, how are they going to do this?
Yeah.
And for the most part, they manhandled San Dimas, and you got to give them a lot of credit because there was some turmoil this week. There were some questions. It was no fun to start 0-1 with a loss at Mater Dei, but I think they handled it. Now they get Colony next, and they might be in pretty good shape going forward. And
might be.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah, they should be. Well, I think they still got to get healthy. I think when you look way down the line, they got to get all of these guys back, obviously.
Yeah,
but
and
good
they should.
News, yeah, but but they've got a quarterback going forward right now, Damian Garcia, and he looked really good. He made one stupid ill-advised pass. There was a penalty that kind of negated it, that could have turned the game late in the third quarter. They got away with it. Other than that, he was really good. What he can do with his feet is really dangerous. Some of those things that he can do out of the backfield is dangerous. Now, they totally missed Toriano Sweet. They couldn't get a running game going outside of Damian Garcia when he had to pick and do things. So I don't know what that situation is, how long that's going to linger over with Sweet. They're going to need him when they get in those big games down the line. I don't care what anybody says. That was the one thing tonight. If you could look at, they couldn't move the ball consistently on the ground. They really needed Garcia and Vons to bail them out a lot of times.
I got to ask you, Freddie, what do you think of Servite? Because I'm a little shocked that Amat being this short-handed, Servite couldn't take advantage of that. They only scored 10 points. Was this a case of Servite really kind of stinking up the place, or was it Amat just that good on defense? Because I'm stunned Servite couldn't take advantage. Because if Servite can't take advantage of Amat short-handed like this, what's to make Servite think it has any shot in that Trinity League?
Yeah, I'm leaving with the same questions here. I mean, their quarterback last week threw for over 400 yards, so I was expecting that defense, especially that secondary, to really get tested. Amat defense put a lot of pressure on him. He hardly had any time to get any passes off or get things going. Something going on here?
No.
You're checking your phone? Oh.
Well, yeah, I always get texts during the phone.
Okay. They were just on him the whole night, and, they were like a couple of series where they got going, but you look at the game, their first 4 times they got the ball were 3 and outs.
That's amateur hour.
They didn't get a first down until midway through the first quarter.
That's ridiculous.
And I think they had really one good offensive series in the second half, and that was it. That Amat defense completely shut them down.
Huge win for Bishop Amat, given the circumstances. They're now 1-1. And now they're heading into the part of the non-league. Like you said, Colony up next. Colony got smoked tonight by Alamany. And then they'll have Chino Hills, which beat them last year.
And Chino Hills lost big to Jay Sarah tonight.
Yeah. So those are doable games for Amat.
They're doable games. Yeah, there are chances to get healthy.
Yeah, and get full strength with maybe Sweet coming back.
Yeah. Sweet's younger brother was in the game tonight and
Tyler,
ran a few series. Yeah,
even
even Coach Haggerty's son got in at wide receiver and started and ran a few series. I mean, guys who normally don't get a lot of action got some time, but I think overall, just a great win. And let me tell you, the atmosphere.
Okay, now
despite the tail, it was weird walking up there because there were some people on the streets tailgating and some enjoying.
So tell me about that. You said you had gotten there early and the gates weren't open yet and people were in a long line of cars.
There were people long lines to get in. They didn't even open the gates to get in the stadium until I think it was 5:45.
So what'd you do?
I got in. I parked. I've got friends around there. I parked in front of someone's house, right behind the stadium, and I kind of walked in, and everybody, it was a normal, everybody was cool tonight. And once the game got going, once they got everybody in, packed house as usual. I mean, it was rocking inside Kiefer. Servite brought a lot of fans, but it was typical.
Who won the student section battle?
Oh, Bishop Amat just absolutely crushed them tonight. I mean, they had the whole end zone packed, and anything that Servite tried to bring, they just came right back. And when you're winning the whole game and you're dominating, it's kind of easy to talk your smack.
Right. Wow. Okay. So big win by Bishop Amat tonight, 28-10 over Servite. Get some street credit back, get some swag back. The game I was at tonight, talk about getting some street credit and some swag back. La Mirada all over Charter Oak, 35-14.
Oh, I did not see that coming.
Yeah, and let me tell you something, Fred. It was pretty much over from the start. I mean, La Mirada got the ball first, cruised right downfield, scored a touchdown. Charter Oak fumbled the ensuing kickoff. La Mirada had a chance to go up 14-0 right there. They didn't. They actually didn't score on the drive. But moments later, they had the ball back because Charter Oak couldn't move it. 14-0. Then it went to 21-0. Charter Oak didn't get its first down until early in the second quarter, which is a long time with that offense. And they made it 21-7, but La Mirada answered right back, 28-7 at halftime. They go up 35-7 in the second half. And La Mirada, I got to tell you, I tweeted this out. It's really dangerous, of all teams that we cover, it's really dangerous to fall in love with this team, this program, because of the rough times they've had in the playoffs, despite, at least on paper, looking like a team that, could win a division title. You look at this team, I'm telling you, man, I mean, I haven't seen the rest of the Southeast yet, but they are so impressive, size-wise.
It's so hard to imagine after. I mean, St. John Bosco must be an absolute beast to pour 70-something points on La Mirada and they come back.
That's what I was thinking, too.
They must be an absolute beast.
You're right. Because I was thinking that exact same thing, like, how good must St. John Bosco be to score 76 straight on these guys? La Mirada, I'm telling you, man, they've got size. They've got speed. Charter Oak has speed. Charter Oak's receivers could not get separation, and that's what we talked about in our 2-minute drills this week. I said, these Charter Oak receivers that are used to running by people, they're not going to run by La Mirada's secondary, and they didn't tonight.
Yeah.
And not only were they fast or as fast as Charter Oak, they were taller, literally almost at every spot.
Yeah.
And they're a scary, scary team going forward. We'll have to see what happens next week against Mater Dei.
Yeah.
They have them at home. That should be interesting. I bet you, just because Mater Dei is probably not as explosive as Bosco, combined with La Mirada getting some mojo back tonight, I bet you that game is interesting for a little while. Because this La Mirada team, wow, I'm impressed. And they go. I know St. Francis won, and we'll talk about that over West Covina tonight. But
another competitive.
La Mirada goes straight to number one on my Southeast Division list. I mean, until I see something that can beat that animal, at least physically, where I could say, hey, these guys could run.
St. Francis
right?
yet.
No, I haven't. But this win, boy, I mean, I would say that beating Charter Oak 35-14 is more impressive than what St. Francis did tonight. But St. Francis was impressive tonight. Once again, West Covina fires a good shot at a good opponent, gives them a good game, but St. Francis wins 36-24. It was St. Francis's first game. It was West Covina's second game, so the seasoning edge was to West Covina, but St. Francis is able to pull this game out, and what can you say? It looks like Bonds has another quality product.
He does, and for West Covina, and despite being 0-2, I mean that's a good fight they put up with Colony, a good fight they put up with St. Francis. I mean, I think there's something to be said for West Covina, even though they're 0-2, that they're in these competitive games against really teams that you can call them upper division for when you're West Covina and what you're going to have to go against later in the year. So I thought that was a good win for them, but also a big win for St. Francis, who had something to prove losing their quarterback.
Right. So St. Francis 1-0. St. Francis will play that stacked Calabasas team later on in the non-league. That'll be a really interesting game to see coming up. They'll also play Monrovia, and speaking of Monrovia falls to 0-2.
Monrovia going to win a non-league game?
Well, they play Arcadia next week.
Okay, I'll get that one.
Rumor has it I'll be there, so we'll see what happens. Bonita tonight, 40-30 over Monrovia.
Wow.
The Wildcats are 0-2.
Two big wins for Bonita.
Yeah.
I mean, none of that. You look at that Sure win last week, and we're saying, well, maybe Sure's no good, but then Sure comes back and routes Almani on Thursday night. So Bonita's 2-0 looks really, really good right now, and the way they're doing it. I mean, I don't think a lot of people thought that they were going to go to M-Town and get that win tonight. Did someone actually guarantee a Monrovia victory to you today?
No name will be mentioned.
Yeah, you don't need to mention your name, but
yeah, he was pretty confident, and Bonita comes out with 40 points on the scoreboard and gets the win, 40-30, and Bonita gets that sweet revenge. They had lost this game 35-3 last year. They really wanted to make up for that. And they did it tonight. And Bonita's off and running. Yeah. I mean, they're 2-0. They got a QB in Tanner East that a lot of people think is just as good as any other.
Early favorite in the Central?
No, I wouldn't say that because, I mean, you still have Glendora, you still in their league. I mean, I wouldn't even say they're the favorite because you still have Glendora. And, Colony will be better once it's back in league.
Right.
And Charter Oak will be just fine.
I like West Covina, even though 0-2.
West Covina will be heard from. Yeah, I mean.
It's going to be a fun division. It's
such a balanced division.
Do we have
because
a score?
They're teams that can beat each other.
Who are you
looking for, Aaron?
South Hills and
South Hills. Well, basically, whatever the score was last year, it was pretty similar. Okay. It was 49-0 La Habra.
So 61-0 last year, 49-0 this year.
And
South
this game
Hills.
was I think it was 41-0 at half. I think it was pretty bad. I remember seeing the score and I said, it was over early.
There you have it.
Nothing's changed. Stop scheduling the Highlanders if you're South Hills. That's not a good game. Arroyo comes back and beats Temple City 35-6. I shouldn't say come back.
Stevie, did you have something you wanted to say about that?
I just think that's kind of a non-league. I wouldn't call it a rival game, but it's they've played.
Right, Bogan always had them on there.
But I don't think
that was back when Bogan was really trying to test good teams.
I don't think South Hills has beaten them since they beat him in the 2000 championship.
Right. Well, there you have it.
How about this other score? Diamond Bar 57, Walnut 7.
Branding iron game, big rivalry.
That's back-to-back blowouts for Diamond Bar.
Yeah, they're 2-0, and if you remember last year, they started I think 1-0 or 2-0, and then San Dimas humbled them.
Yeah, didn't they start with two big wins? Or
they had beaten Montebello in the first game. Noodles went off, and I can't remember who they beat in the second game. But
I'll tell you a sad result if you're a Pasadenian tonight.
What?
Cathedral 61, Mir 7. Oof.
Mir may have some problems.
But Cathedral was supposed to be really loaded.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Cathedral could be the Southeast favorite, not La Mirada, not St. Francis. Yeah. We'll see. I mean, obviously, they're supposed to be good.
And Pasadena lost 33-6 to West Ranch. And West Ranch is pretty good, too.
Right.
Could this be the year? PHS finally gets Mir in that turkey tussle.
Anyway, way too early to ask. He always asks that question, but this year it's like about 7 weeks early.
I thought last year there was a chance just based on what PHS had. And
it didn't happen.
PHS doesn't know what that bell looks like anymore.
San Dimas, the debut of Mark Holman goes very well. They beat Steve Bogan and Maranatha 41-7. So San Dimas keeps rolling. Rough spot for Holman. Follows in the footsteps of a legend in Bill Zernico, then plays a legend in Steve Bogan in that same game, and obviously his team got the job done. 41-7 there. That's a great win.
I mean, to just give up. I mean, obviously San Dimas is capable of scoring points. It was true in Zernico, and it looks like it's true tonight. But to just give up 7 points to Maranatha is
not bad.
It's pretty impressive.
Right. Well, it's kind of funny because I talked to Holman this week, and he was telling me, man, Maranatha has some skill guys that anybody in the Valley would love to have on their team. They're as good as anybody. And I'm thinking to myself, man, So this is what it's going to be like to talk to Coach Holman. He's going to kind of Lou Holtz me, and I'm thinking. So I told him, I was like, Coach, if you like the skill guys Maranatha has this year, you'd have just fawned over them last year when they had Caleb Devine and Eli Snyder. I mean, they lost both those guys, and you think they're still like UCLA or something. So Coach Holman, he's first year as a head coach, he's kind of fine tuning how he tries to sell the media.
And they're not running the wing tee over there, right?
Well, he wouldn't be clear about that. He said, we're going to kind of do some of this. We're going to be multiple. We're going to be more, this or that. But we're going to be physical. It was unclear, but I would think not.
That's a good win for them, regardless.
Two blowouts tonight. Two teams that scheduled teams that they have no business scheduling. And I started thinking about this game, this situation as well. San Marino routs Sierra Vista 84-6. LaSalle destroyed Blair. I don't remember the final. It was 70-something to whatever. Why is San Marino playing Sierra Vista and why is LaSalle playing Blair? And then I started thinking, shouldn't LaSalle and San Marino just be playing each other?
Yeah, but
I mean, why are you scheduling these cream puffs and then when you should just be playing each other?
Yeah,
you need a game. Play each other.
You're probably right, Aaron. But coaches like victories. They like easy wins.
This is ridiculous.
But you're right. Those aren't even competitive games.
And Blair should be playing Sierra Vista.
Yeah, you're probably right.
We could have done this at the same site. One game starts at 4, one game starts at 7. Give the money to charity. God knows LaSalle and San Marino don't need it.
84 points.
And a pretty impressive win by Whittier over Cantwell. 62-0.
Stevie, stay up on that Whittier stuff.
I like it's funny tonight. You know how we're in a situation now, we can't send reporters to every game. There's some games that we're going to miss, so we're trying to call and track down scores at the end of the night. And no one had the Workman Wilson score, so I said, screw it, I'm just going to call Coach Gano. So I call him up. Hey, Fred, hey, what's going on? He goes, what's going on with you guys? I thought you completely forgot about me. I said, no, Coach, we're calling and tracking down scores. God, I'm out here and no one calls me anymore. I'm lonely. I said, what's the score of your game? He says 34-15. I said, you win, Coach? Well, Jesus Christ, Fred, I'm not answering your phone if I didn't win. Just typical Gano. Wanted to say hi to everybody.
Right.
He's at Wilson. They 2-0? He's trying to get it going again. I think they're 1-0, but they got Los Altos. They got the big game next week. Yeah.
Wow.
So that was them scheduling their Sierra Vista tonight to try to get a win, although it wasn't as big as the other game.
Yeah.
34-15.
Yeah, good.
I just
good,
thought
good
I'd share that.
Coach
Gano, get him back on the show.
Speaking of first games, Glendora had theirs tonight, 24-14 over Altaloma. If you recall last year, I was very high on Glendora, and they had a shaky first game against Altaloma and ultimately pulled it out, I believe. And I was so shocked by that I kind of got off the bandwagon that I started. Yeah. I'm not going to do that this year. But 24-14, Matt Fink and the boys win. Glendora's off and running. What were you going to say?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I thought you were going to ask me how somebody did. So, who we calling?
We had a reporter at the game. I'm just going to see if he answers right now. I can tell us how Matt Fink looked tonight.
Oh, okay. At the Glendora game.
Yeah. Okay. This is LJ Velez. If he's, sometimes they answer, sometimes they don't. Some of these guys go to bed early. Sometimes they're awake.
It's 4 rings.
Sometimes we could be calling to check back to make sure he got his story. Usually these guys got to answer their phones.
5
there
rings.
You go. Now he knows that we've got him on blast.
6 rings and a voicemail.
6 rings and a voicemail. We tried.
We
tried to find out how Matt Fink tonight. Maybe we'll get a call back.
Impromptu moment there by Freddie.
I'd give it a shot.
And also Covina, big win tonight.
Christening Covina Valley. What's the name of that place? Covina Valley District Stadium?
No, it's called the Covina District Sports
Covina
Complex.
Valley District. There's a valley in there, yeah.
Okay.
It's whatever.
42-0 over La Fuente.
Well, it's not
Blowout,
a district
Talesian,
field anymore.
Ramirez Field.
It's not,
that'd be nice.
It's good to have a brand new field like that, but I grew up on the other one, so I have a soft spot how
they had that nice pizza that they used to bring in at the district field.
Yes,
remember?
Yes, one of my favorites. And that was one of my.
Where did they get that?
I live around the corner from there. You know where they got it? I think it's that Red Devil Pizza that's right up the street.
Yeah, it's right I think on the corner of Padillo and Citrus.
Yeah, great pizza. That's one of the reasons I'd go there on Thursday nights to get that slice of pizza before the game.
One slice for Freddie.
Stevie would grab the whole box.
Yeah.
I've seen him do it. I've seen him in the stands with the whole box.
But I'd always get one of those red candy apples.
Steve, look at it. Tom Kiss said he had a live interview with Haggerty on Periscope. Should we ask him how that went?
Yeah, the Aram special is actually 2 slices of the pizza and a Sprite. So that's what it was.
Diet
so hopefully,
Sprite?
No, regular.
Okay.
Snack bars don't have Diet Sprite. Okay, so that was. Are you calling Tom Kiss?
Yeah, we'll start calling some of those people. See what's going on.
Well, yeah, I was getting ready to wrap up the show.
Well, last thing, I mean, we can close. We can close on this. I'm kind of curious. I ran up to. I was talking to Damien Garcia.
Yes, sir.
Tom Kiss, we've got you live on Prep Extra right now, and you talked to Coach Steve Haggerty after the game. We're just kind of curious. What did he say? What was the move?
Tom, I don't think Tom can hear you, Fred. Maybe you're on mute.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh,
did we just lose him? What the heck's going on here?
Fred is ruining this show.
Jesus, good Lord. What do you mean I'm ruining the show? I'm trying to get some...
LJ gives you the cold shoulder, like a girl who gave you her number at a bar, and now...
you know what I tell that girl at the bar? I said, I wasn't asking you to dance. I said, you look fat in those pants.
Hey.
But here we go. A little light moment here.
Fred is a legend at Q's in Pasadena back when that...
that was closed down. And that closed down, that ended my nightlife career.
Yeah. He's been off the scene now for several years.
So something's going on. I'm going to stop trying to call people. We can...
Fred, you want to call like anybody else tonight here?
Sometimes I got to realize it's 11:30 and some people don't want to talk.
Do you want to call anybody else?
Let's close this up.
Hello, Alfredo's. Are you open? Yeah, Aram's on his way.
Well, actually, we're in Monrovia now. I got Tommy Burgers on the way home.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. All right. Well, let's get right now to biggest surprise, biggest disappointments of the night. I know you guys weren't expecting it, so are you ready, or do you need a second to think about it?
Go ahead. I mean, I think we just...
Okay. You want me to start?
Yeah.
My biggest surprise tonight, was Servite with that big, personnel edge, or so you would think, not being able to take advantage of Bishop Amat. Obviously, a lot of credit goes to Bishop Amat for being able to rise up given their personnel situation. But I'm shocked that Servite didn't even make this like really a game. That's really got held to 10 points.
Well, this is the great Bishop Amat team that we were talking about at the beginning of the year.
It's not though.
Up tonight.
I mean, it's not. This is like part of it, but God, imagine when they get the guys back. So
are you feeling better now about their chances to maybe go deep in the playoffs?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
last week you were sour. Last week they're not a top 5 team. They're not a top 6. Who
said that?
You were. You were
I didn't say that.
You said they were not a Final Four team. You didn't think they were.
I don't remember. I'll have to go back and watch. I know that in our 2-minute drills this week, I said that it's starting to look to me, or I said this week at least on Twitter that Centennial and Bosco are on another level. But I certainly put Amat in the mix of making the semis.
I do. When you watch them, if everybody's healthy and they get that by week 10 or whenever when the playoffs start, they're going to be as dangerous as anybody, Aram. I mean, they really are. You look at them tonight. I'm just imagining, but everything's got to fall into place.
Right.
Sweet's got to get himself back in good standing with the team. Everyone's going to have to get healthy. I think the only guy who probably won't be back the rest of the year is Andrew Vasquez. Yeah. Everyone else, we should get. Brayton should be back soon. I'm hoping. Hopefully, Kai Higgins' injury is nothing that serious.
Yeah. I believe we said that this team still had its whole season in front of it last week, after last week. But, we'll see, obviously, going forward. My biggest disappointment tonight, Charter Oak. They had major revenge from last year's loss to La Mirada. And, I know that physically and speed-wise they were kind of in trouble tonight. Maybe they were as fast as La Mirada, but physically they were no match for this team. And... if Charter Oak wants to win this, Central Division, it's going to have to be able to stand up at the line of scrimmage to teams like Colony, or, to teams like La Mirada, even though they're not in the same division tonight. These are the kind of games that you need to win, or at least be able to hold your own at the line of scrimmage. If you can't, then what you get is what Charter Oak kind of did last year. They would have one good game, and then they'd take a step back. They would beat West Covina, but they would lose to Los Altos. They just didn't physically have it in them to put together, 2 or 3 really good games in a row. and that's ultimately what cost them. So pretty big disappointment for Charter Oak tonight to play that poorly in a big revenge game. I know La Mirada had a lot to do with it, but you just thought you'd get a lot better effort from the Chargers. And who knows, Fred? We've all had the Vegas hangover. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know. Anyways, your biggest surprise, biggest disappointment?
Well, I think my biggest surprise is the biggest disappointment, and that was Charter Oak, because I even tweeted out earlier in the day I had a good feeling, and I thought Charter Oak would actually rout them, and there'd be some big surprise. I actually tweeted out there. I got about 30 retweets from Charter Oak fans. Yeah, and to see that your score 7-0, 14-0, 21-0, I felt like an idiot making that prediction earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, La Mirada, like you said, St. John Bosco, maybe they're that great. But I just thought Charter Oak after last week, and they had some good weapons coming back. I mean, you looked at what they did in Nevada last week. I just thought they were going to put up a better fight, and I really thought they were going to win this game. So that's a big. I'll put that on the disappointment side. I'm disappointed in the result. Biggest surprise for me was Damian Garcia playing the way that he did. I thought both quarterbacks looked really shaky last week. The way he played that night, he played with a lot of confidence. He played like a guy who wasn't looking over his shoulder and knew that this game was his to win or lose and lead this team. And he did a lot of good things tonight, and he showed that what he can do on that team for offense. And I'm trying to imagine it when it's all clicking, when you've got Sweet in the backfield who can run, when you've got Sidney and Vons out there and they have other receivers, when you've got that offensive line, when you got Higgins and Brayton back. I just see an offensive machine that can be so dangerous and powerful. Yeah. So many ways that they can beat you. I'm really excited about watching this team move forward, because I do. I think I was talking about this with some of those guys in the press box, those guys from Amat who've been there for 20 years running these things, and they really like his ability to run and throw the ball. And in high school, that's such a big weapon. And with those other weapons that they have, I think it's a good thing they finally settled on this. Now we can watch this team going forward and see what they've really got. I don't think we have those lingering questions. I think the only way you're going to see Ryder now is in a similar situation if there's an injury down the line. But I think they're settled in on their quarterback, and let's see what happens.
All right, Stevie, biggest surprise?
My biggest surprise is not that Montebello won tonight, but the way they won, the way they showed tremendous balance. Ryan Rivera looked really good tonight. I mean, and they got some really good receivers. They're not just a team that runs the ball anymore. This is a team that when you approach them defensively, there's a lot to be concerned about. So that was impressive to see. And I guess my biggest disappointment has to be Charter Oak. I mean,
Charter Oaks.
I thought La Mirada would win the game, but I thought it would be,
close.
Dominic Farr's going to be disappointed in us.
Assuming he watches the show.
Based on the score last week from La Mirada.
What's up, Dom?
But I thought they would bounce back a little bit, but not as impressive. And I mean, I thought Charter Oak would have a better showing.
Yeah.
Wow, Charter Oak 3-0 sweep here on the biggest disappointment.
Yeah. So what do you think of the real quick games next week?
Well, I thought it was kind of
Glendora,
it's
Charter
not as
Oak.
good a week as this week as far as sexy matchups.
Yeah.
Well,
Glendora's not playing Charter Oak.
There's a pretty sexy one.
Charter Oak Gardens. What's that?
Well, there's two of them. Mater Dei at La Mirada and Mission Viejo at La Habra. So those are two games that I'm looking forward to.
Okay.
Okay, wait. Are you gonna go for 3 strikes?
I'm gonna go for 3 strikes. Yeah, I figure you might as well. When you've swung twice,
Why are we calling Tommy right now?
I want to hear his reaction. He said he had talked to Coach Haggerty afterward.
Okay. Since Coach Haggerty won't talk to us, we'll talk to someone that he will talk to.
Tom Kiss.
Yes, sir.
Hey, got you live on Prep Extra. We're ready to close the show. Tell us how that conversation went at the end of the night when you talked to Coach Haggerty about the big win.
It went good. It took me a while to chase him down. Found him. He came out. He answered the questions. We talked about how the team played tonight. How he thought their defense did well. He thought they were missing some players, and other guys stepped up, and he was in good spirits. I think to get that win under their belt and get some confidence and get those guys rolling again was important for him. And he was pretty great. Like I said, he's pretty gracious. It was pretty cool because we broadcasted the interview live on Periscope. So I don't know how many people ended up watching it, but I tweeted that out. But I'll have the full interview on the video tonight when I do get that uploaded sometime here a little bit later.
Tom Kiss, you're turning into a social superstar the way you do these live Periscope things after the games.
It's pretty cool. I'm trying to watch out because I know CIF follows me, and I know if I ever do a live broadcast during one of the games, they may get upset. So I'm sure to do everything before the game and after. And I think it's a great tool for us because there's not a lot of people that are going to be able to watch a live interview, something like that, and it's going to catch on. It's going to be an exciting tool for us to use.
Well, very good. Well, that was Tom Kiss, everyone. He was at tonight's game. He's got the video highlights, interviews, and we'll have this video on the blog sometime tomorrow morning, early afternoon when Tom gets it all together. Thanks a lot, Tom.
Okay, guys. Good night.
All right. Yeah, so there you go.
Wow. All right. So we will have a Haggerty interview after all. That should be interesting. All right. So that's it, man. Week 1 in the books. Week 2 is coming up next. But before that, we have a full slate of college football. Both UCLA and USC start the season
tomorrow.
Look
at Stevie. He's already got his blue and gold on right now.
Will you be at the game tomorrow?
Of course you will.
Yes, I will be at the game and getting up reasonably early to get out.
You tailgating, Steve?
What time's the game?
The game is at 12:30.
Okay.
You tailgating?
Yeah, we're tailgating.
Is that a babe? Look at Steve Eater.
Steve Ramirez, man. He's the new. You call him the new Steve.
The only thing I won't have is my Josh Rosen jersey.
The new Steve?
It's the new Steve. Look at the tie and the shirt, and it's the new Steve.
Yeah, man.
UCLA better not lay an egg tomorrow, or.
Well, Virginia better cover 19 and a half. That's what I know.
Okay.
All right, anyways, well, week 1 in the books. Obviously, the blogs are a great place to go and share your thoughts on everything that happened. It was an eventful lead up to the games, and they didn't disappoint. Fred, are we?
I'm going over.
Oh, yeah, you're going over to South. Okay, yeah.
Well, we're going up. Can I get Steve's opinion? Steve, in that double play in the Dodgers yesterday, was that a horrible call or was that a horrible call?
I was
Don't
at
trip,
the
Freddie.
Cerna game, so I didn't see it.
Great, Steve. Well, Steve has no opinion on that. It was a horrible call.
And I'm sorry, I have DirecTV, so I don't see anything Dodgers.
Oh, jeez. Poor guys, I have Time Warner. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, good night, everybody.
Pleasant tomorrow.